Very well, remember we're also streaming live on standardmedia.co.ke and on our YouTube channel as well. Talk to us across our social media platforms at ktnke, at Dennis Assetto. Our hashtag is KTN Prime. Be sure to talk to us. We shall be sampling some of the news within this live broadcast. And a little bit later, as promised, we shall be having that discussion on matters to do with the finance bill, and that conversation will be held together with an economist who is matters to do with the economy, and that is Bernard Mushere, who is a public finance expert, former internal auditor, National Treasury. Be sure to be with us as we talk about Finance Bill 2026, debt and taxes. But I'll go straight to a top story. These are amid questions over the France-Africa relations following concerns of neo-colonial meddling in many African countries where it has traditionally had close ties, President William Ruto has allayed fears of the same scenario repeating itself, maintaining that the continent will no longer be anybody's slaves. President Ruto insists the architecture of the partnership is hinged on mutual benefit and investment and not exploitation and extraction. Now, curtains fell on the day 2 of Africa Forward Summit with calls for delivery and turning the commitments into capital.
Et après, notre discussion sera...
And those trends the fact that we have massive need for finance.
This is a conversation, first and foremost, before we have with President Macron, we must have amongst ourselves as leaders in this continent. What is Kenya doing? What is Zambia doing? What is Mauritania doing? What is the next country doing? What are we doing to mobilize our own resources with the support of our financial institutions led by the Africa Development Bank for us to unlock this enormous amount of resources for us to de-risk and to finance our own development? Currently, we are putting a lot of our money from central banks in foreign banks. We are not putting that money in Africa Development Bank. We're not putting in Afri-Exim. We're not putting in ATD. We are taking it elsewhere. And that money is helping drive the development of other places. How do we take our money, give to people, and then we go on our knees to beg them to help us? That is not intelligent at all.
But actually the ball's in your court for this one, because your own financial sector is not investing in African financing. You don't have the same constraints from a government point of view, but it is the 4 curtains that we mentioned earlier. Therefore, you also need to reform your financial sector rather. And I come back to the critical matter here. If we are having insufficient funding from Europe in Africa, and if the African financing sector is also not developing the structures that are needed to invest in Africa, this was mentioned by several African leaders, it means that the perception of risk is faulty across the board.